We Spartans are descended from Hercules himself. Taught never to retreat, never to surrender. Taught that death in the battlefield is the greatest glory he could achieve in his life. Spartans, the finest soldiers the world has ever known.
There were a lot of important civilizations that were well known for their militaries, but none were like Sparta. Sure, there were the Mongols, Romans, and even the Persians, but Sparta was one of a kind. It was a military state, so the number one priority in the state was being prepared to fight anything without hesitation. Whenever someone hears about Sparta, the first thing that comes to their head is their famous military. The Spartans created a reputation for themselves for having a very powerful army. They were a force to be reckoned with. Although for all the power they had, is it safe to say that they were the most powerful military force up till the 16th century? From the evidence found about the Spartans in modern day, it could be proven that the Spartans in fact had the most powerful army. The battle tactics Sparta used were very smart. The weaponry and armor the Spartan men used were simple but very effective. And finally, the training the Spartans had to go through was hell for them, but it made them very strong physically and mentally. The Spartans were very strong physically when it came to the war, but the state knew that pure strength will not achieve success. Battle tactics are very important as they create structure and organization of the men. It is there to minimize the amount of casualties in the war. The Spartans used the structure called a phalanx formation. Although they didn't innovate it, because of their discipline and strength, this formation became very effective. In the phalanx, the army worked as a unit in a closed, deep formation and made coordinated mass maneuvers. This formation showed the Spartans that no one had greater power over the other. They had to strike as a team and defend together. In a phalanx formation, hoplites form shield walls by overlapping their large shields, the left of each shield protecting the warrior to the left. When all of their shields were put up to defend, it was very difficult for the opposition to land an effective blow, but when they attacked together, it was like all hell breaking loose. Even though Sparta did not have the most men compared to some other empires like the Romans or Persians, because of their formation, the Spartans were able to wipe out opponents that had 2 to 3 times more men because of their discipline and courage they carried while fighting. It's obvious that most wars cannot be fought without weapons. The usual theory would be that whoever had the most advanced weapons would be the ones to be victorious. If war was just based on weapons, there would be a lot of other civilizations like the Persians that would be stronger, but a war cannot be solely won by weapons. The Spartans did have weapons, but they were basic and not that advanced compared to the other empires. But the Spartans didn't really need advanced weapons to succeed. They had simple but very effective weaponry. Their primary weapon was a spear around 7 to 9 feet long, about 2.7 meters in length, called a duro. The duro is used to charge at the enemy with the shields in front so they are still protected. It's very effective because it complements the phalanx formation for the fighters. The armor was sturdy and was able to take multiple hits by enemies' weapons. The armor weighed about 50 pounds, so it was quite a load to carry on them. But because of their intense training, it wasn't so difficult because they were very strong physically. Spartans only want the best out of the best to make sure their army is the most powerful. They didn't care about having a lot of men. They cared about having the most skilled men. A famous saying that was widely accepted was, "One Spartan was worth several men of any other state." The Spartans believed in quality over quantity. They would make sure that the most athletic and strong males and females get married so the child would be strong and healthy. Infamously, the Spartan elders would inspect newborn infants, and if they found any to be imperfect, judged to be puny or deformed, they were to be thrown from a cliff. It didn't matter who the child was. If it wasn't good enough or perfect enough, then the male child would be left to die. After the good and healthy children become bigger and turn 7, they get separated from their parents and go off into age groups and live in barracks. This process is called agug. They were subjected to continual physical competition, which include violence. They were given meager rations and expected to become skilled at stealing food, among other survival skills. This got the kids to toughen up and become more aggressive and less soft. It gets even worse by the ages of 18 to 20, where they start training harshly. Not only do they train physically, but they also train the male mentality. They had their own code of honor where they would discipline the soldiers by.
We heard Sparta was on the warpath. We were eager to join forces.
If it is blood you seek, you're welcome to join us.
But you bring only this handful of soldiers against Xerxes? I see I was wrong to expect Sparta's commitment to at least match our own.
Doesn't it? You, there. What is your profession?
I'm a potter, sir.
And you, Arcadian. What is your profession?
Sculptor, sir.
You?
Blacksmith.
Spartans! What is your profession? See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.
Some would argue that even though the Spartans had a superior infantry force, they still lacked a big navy like the Athens or the Romans. Yes, this is absolutely true. They did lack a navy, but the Spartans never needed a strong navy, however. The water was not a home of the Spartans. Their skills were most definitely focused on land. The Spartans could have had a bigger navy, but they didn't think it was necessary. It makes sense because Sparta isn't that close to water like how the Athens would be. So if another empire like the Mongols want to take over Sparta, they would have to come by infantry and fight on land. And because of that, empires would think twice if it was worth attacking Sparta and losing a lot of men on land. In conclusion, the Spartans can never be forgotten because of their bravery and amazing army. It just shows that they had the best army in the world up to the 16th century. They weren't just Neanderthals running at each other expecting to win using raw strength. They used tactics that would pulverize enemy defenses without losing a lot of men. They had impressive armory and weapons. They didn't have to be so advanced, but they were simple to get the job done. It's not just about the armor, however. It's also about the man that's inside. They had to be very physically and mentally be tough. They would have to fight until their last breath. They would rather die than give up.
This is blasphemy. This is madness!
Madness. This is Sparta!